Good morning, family. This is Dr. Kia Pruitt. Happy 11/11. It's 11:11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and today is November the 17th, 2024. So happy 17th. We know a lot of great things happen on the 17th, and you guys know we love the 17th letter. So check in, family. Good morning. Thank you. Good morning, family. Let us know where you're hailing from. It's so good to see everybody. We do have breaking news, family, and we're going to talk about what this breaking news means for us all. So check on in, family. Good morning, a great rising, joyous rising. I hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. I could not sleep last night. So good morning, family. Keep joining in, checking in. I see people on Instagram, YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter, and even LinkedIn. Good morning. Welcome to the Dr. Kia Pruitt Show. We do have some breaking news. I see Alabama's in the house. Who else is in the house? Cook Michael is here. Real Jennifer. Sharon. Hi, Sharon. McGarnett is here. Jatorius is here. Scotty is here. Hello, family. Good morning. Let me take a drink of water. So this is the 17th of November. I anticipate us having a wonderful Thanksgiving and a very, very Merry Christmas, my darlings, for those of you who celebrate it. Remember, President Trump had said some time ago, we're going to have a very Merry Christmas. And some people said that he actually said we're going to have an early Christmas. If that's the case, let's see what he meant. So let's see who's all in the house. P. Sonia, good morning. Who else? Hi, Rich Pritch. Rich Pritch says, don't forget to hit the like button, people, whether you're on family members, whether you're on Rumble or YouTube, and share the video. For those of you who think this could, inspire and encourage someone else, make sure you also comment in the comment section. Natombia says, sad news for Iran. Ellen Mooney's in the house. Thank you. She says, I'm such an inspiration. Oh, thank you. Thank you for being here. We love you so much. To you, beautiful soul sister. It's my great pleasure and my honor to serve humanity and to be here for our soul family. Thank you for your kind words. Oh, thank you so much, Sister Jamie, or is that Brother Jamie? Jamie Franks says you look beautiful in that white lady. Thank you. Oh, you're early. You were early, Patriot, but it's okay. Or I was late. How about that? Yeah, it kind of gave you guys some time to get some coffee and me time to get my tea. Look at what my cup says: wealth, family, legacy. And those are selling on my shop. I do have a shop. I have to reconnect it to my YouTube channel, but it is on, what is it called? Springs. I'll show you guys a link a little later to my shop, maybe later on today, because I'm all about building family wealth and having a legacy, leaving a legacy for your family, for your friends, and for people here on the planet. Keep checking in, family. Somebody says, no news anywhere about Iranian president. Oh, honey, we got it here. Beaumont, Texas, in the house. Yes, yes. The Iranian raid. Yes, you saw that something happened. Yes. Beautiful news day. Okay. Thank you. I will maintain. It's good to see you. And thank you for blessing me with a cash app. I will maintain. I got it. So for all of you who did bless me, I want to give you a shout out. So if you choose to bless me, my cash app is Mama Kia, $13. No, it's $MAMAKIA 13. And it's on the ticker too. But let me give you all a shout out who blessed me the other day. I'll go quickly because I know you guys have things to do. It is Sunday morning. You might be getting ready for church, so let me hurry up. But I want to express my gratitude to Estrelita. Thank you so much. God bless you. From Maryland. Cameron, thank you. Barbara Pittman. I don't know if I'm supposed to say your last name. Sister Barbara, thank you. Rodney, thank you so much for your blessing. Chief Mac, thank you for your blessing. Sister Gwendolyn, thank you. I will maintain. I told you I really appreciate you blessing me with the cash app. Thank you so much. Michael, thank you. Who is that? Harsandra, thank you so much for blessing me with the cash app. Chair Charmaine, thank you. Wow, all these blessings. Brother David L, thank you. Lita, I'm so grateful. May God bless all of you and heaven smile on you and bless you triple fold or hundredfold for all that you've done for me here. Sister Dina, thank you. Marcia or Marcia, thank you so much. Marcia D. Thank you, Sister Andrea. Look at all these blessings. Loyal, determined, thank you. Sophia, thank you. Sister Barbara, thank you again. Sister Kimberly, Brother Michael, thank you. And Sister Norma. So I am so grateful for all of you who have blessed me with a Cash App blessing. If you desire to support my work, of course, I would be honored. And again, I'll show you my Cash App on the screen. But you know what? This isn't even about me, but just for those of you who bless me, thank you. This is about all of us. It's about our soul family. It's about all the things that's happening in the world today. So let me see who else that is. George Michael's in the house. Sister Barbara Pittman says, my husband says hi. Tell him I say good morning. Let's see. Good morning, Jeannie. It's so good to see you. Arkansas's in the house. Hi, good to see you. I have a brother that's from Arkansas, a brother from another mother. Hello. Oh, see, Lakia says, good morning, everybody. Hi there, Dr. Kia and beautiful soul family. Keep checking in, family. We just want to give you all some time to get in. Oh, Sarita says she looks forward to hearing from me. I'm here. I'm a little hoarse. I think it's a change in weather, starting to get a little cool here in Jacksonville. Plus, I've been around children because you guys know I'm a substitute school teacher and I've been teaching young people. If you missed my live that I did about 2 or 3 days ago, you'll see I'm answering questions for some of my young people in school. They're like 13 to 14, asking me questions about what's going on in the world, asking me questions about President Donald Trump. It was a wonderful, wonderful live, and it gave me an opportunity to teach them history as I come to know it. They asked me questions about slavery. Is slavery real? Some people were like, what does that have to do with our lives now? Why do they keep teaching us this slavery story in school? We don't care anything about that. We don't believe in blaming anybody for where we are today. These are young minds. We want to know, what's that got to do with us now? Tell us how we can make it now. And I was like, you guys are brilliant. So I did a deep dive into history with those young people, and they loved it. They were so attentive, because it was a history class. So they were so attentive to and interested in learning about real history. And I told them, history is often told from the perspective of the conqueror or from the perspective, of the elite class. You have to ask your family members, your grandparents and your parents and your great-grandparents what happened in your bloodline and accept that is truth, not necessarily or all the time what's in the book. So they were like, thank you, because they felt that and they knew it, but they didn't know how to express it. And if they had said it to some of the other teachers, they would get reprimanded. So I'm very, very grateful for being alive at such a time as this, because these new souls coming in, family, they question everything. The Lone Star Territory's in the house. Hi, Rod Bay. Good to see you. I see my Moorish brothers and sisters. I see my brothers and sisters from Europe. I see my brothers and sisters from Canada and from all over America. Hi, Patriot Mama. Tacoma, Washington's in the house. Hello, you keep me going, Dr. Pruitt. Thank you for all you do. Oh, we appreciate you. Oh, thank you so much. You guys bless me as well. You know what? Because operating in my calling and my purpose and mission just gives me so much joy, and it gives me a reason to live. So thank you for hearing me. Thank you for being here, family. I love you all so very much. Wesley Chapel, Florida is in the house. What else? Hold on. Checking in from the great state of Florida, home of the new White House. All right. Dr. Kia and family, first time commenting. Oh, that's wonderful. Hi, Norel. It's good to see you. Noral, excuse me. First time and from Texas. All right. Venezuelan leaders, as well as Vietnamese leaders, tapped on the shoulder of oil billionaires and some other entrepreneurs from Texas and asked them to invest in Vietnam and Venezuela because they said we have a GDP that's growing, and at least in Vietnam, their GDP is growing, and they had gotten rid of their corruption at the highest levels. They had gotten rid of their whole administration, and not only in their government, but billionaires and a lot of businessmen that were participating in nefarious acts. Vietnam got rid of all of those people. Then, I don't know if you guys have been following me since 2020, but in 2020, I reported how Vietnam was doing extremely well. It was a little after 2020, it might have been 2021 or 2022, how Vietnam was doing extremely well during the pandemic. Vietnam was actually still trading, and their borders were open to some extent while the whole world was shutting down, and their gross domestic product had shot up. So for all of you that are invested in the Vietnamese dong, please know that their GDP is doing very well. And then recently they asked for Texas billionaires and entrepreneurs in Texas and elsewhere in America to invest in their country because they were like, this was a prime opportunity and a great time for you to exploit the resources that are here. And you can find articles that say that. I did research on that and reported on that as well. Hello, Sister Adela. Good morning. Sister Adela Gonzalez, ¿cómo estás? You're welcome, sister. Is it how you say it? Adelaida, excuse me. Yes, 1117. And Brother Andrew says you're wonderful. Pennsylvania loves you. Thank you. Hi, family. Good morning, everyone. You like that shop, Sister Charlotte? Okay, I will get that for you. Smoothie, you got a smoothie? Smoothie on me, beautiful matriarch. Thank you, Lofi. I appreciate it. Let's see. Carpe Diem from Mississippi. Good morning. Another Arkansas family member in the house. Who else? I see Ohio in the house. South Carolina's in the house. Good morning. You got a commercial on my live? That's weird. Wow. Hello, hello. Oh, I appreciate you too. Hi, Taj. Taj is my brother from Connecticut. Good morning. I love you. I saw that you had said hey to me on my messenger, but I was going live. I was about to go live, Taj, but I got some good news. Thank you so much. Good morning. Greetings, family. Hollywood, California's in the house. Atlanta, Georgia's in the house. Oh, so many people. Good morning to you. It is happening, family. Did I hear about the top dog from the police in Spain? He went down with millions in the walls? No. Oh, send me a link, please. Spain police. What he got fired? Oh, Spain arrests top police officer after 21 million found. Wow. I brought that article up, so we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Thank you so much. Taran says, because of you, I got Zim and Bolivar. I already had the Vietnamese dong. Thank you for the heads up. I can't wait for the revaluation. Keep checking in, family. I see we have Patriot Mama from Indiana. Or are you saying hello to Indiana girl? Wisconsin's in the house. Grand New Day. Oakland, good to see you. Thank you, Tosh says, keep up the good work. So I don't want to keep you guys too long. Yes, 5 o'clock. What's the Forex? Something may show on the Forex at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time today. Yes, that's a great question. Patriot Mama, I was just told to watch the Forex today, and particularly at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you all might see some of the currencies that you hold actually trading on the Forex. Okay, we'll share the link to Spain. Yes, I will. Kentucky's in the house. Hi. Okay. Good morning, family. Keep checking in. I love you all so much. I'm going to go over all these articles in just a minute. I want to give everybody time to check in, get your coffee, get your tea. Let me see. Let me go to Instagram. Oh, we have A lot of people here who have joined. Thank you all on Instagram for joining. Good morning. It's so good to see you all. Sister Sharon says, love you so much, Dr. Kia Pruitt. Oh, I love you all too. Stay with me, family, because we have great news. So today is Sunday. Happy Sunday. November the 17th, 2024. And right now the time is 11:28 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you listen to the replay and you don't want to hear the introduction, you can always fast forward, or you can go speed through the speed. You can go 1.25 or 1.5 or even 2.0, speed it up double time so you can see it. And also you can enable the comments to come up. You can click on transcript and you can see the transcript as I'm speaking. You'll see the words that I'm saying. And I don't know if YouTube still does closed caption, but if they do, I'll enable that after we go live, okay? So that during the replay, you can see that. So this is Dr. Kia Pruitt. Again, I welcome you all here. I'm so excited. I'm not nervous, but I could not sleep this morning. I could not, I don't know, rest because I just have this excited energy. And I didn't know why. So I decided to look at my messages, because my messages, which is, on Messenger and my phone, ding, 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 ding. I was like, what is going on? So this is what I found out, family. Let's see, that the supreme leader of Iran has just passed. Now, the latest news, according to MSNBC, CNN, and mainstream media, is that he was in a coma. And then we heard breaking news that he had passed. So, sometimes mainstream media is a little late with the news, but people who are connected to those countries that are reporting, they'll just come on Twitter and tell you what's going on, or they'll send us email or text or messages and let us know what's going on. So, excuse me, this article here says, Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei's in a coma. Everything about succession plans amid clashes with Israel. Reports indicate that Ali Khamenei is in poor health and may pass leadership to his son to ensure a smooth transition. Secret meetings have been held to finalize the succession, raising concerns about potential protests against the undemocratic process. Iran is likely to see a major change in leadership this year amid escalating tensions with Israel and the looming threat of a wider Middle East war. Now, I don't know if you all remember, but I just reported yesterday and the day before that since President-elect President Trump was reelected into the White House, leaders from the Middle East actually stepped up and said, we're not going to have any war in the Middle East. We want peace in the Middle East, and we are seeking peace in the world. Not only had that happened, but you had the leader of Russia, Vladimir Putin, and the leader of China, Xi Jinping, both make official open announcements saying we're going to work with President Donald Trump, and we're happy to see him back here in the White House. So this is why here, who's calling me? This is why here, and on this particular article, is saying that there were escalating tensions looming of a threat of war in the Middle East, but we're not going to see that happen, okay? So they said Iran is likely to see a major change in leadership this year amid escalating tensions with Israel and the looming threat of a wider Middle East war. But now that this leader is out, this leader allegedly was causing problems. He was holding up the process of the Iranian reevaluating. He was slowing down the process of the global currency reset because they had to make sure everything was calm in the Middle East. This is Dr. Kia Pruitt's commentary. Back to the article. Speculative reports suggest that Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei has slipped into a coma and remains seriously ill, according to the article. Officials are believed to have picked a successor to the 85-year-old during a secret meeting last month. Everything they do is usually covert and secret behind the scenes and actually resolved before they actually bring out the news. So he probably was in a coma a long time ago. They're just announcing that, and it's just making mainstream media news today. It broke early this morning. According to reports, Tehran secretly picked its successor in late September, with the aligning Ayatollah Ali Khamenei possibly abdicating before his death. An Iran international report suggests that his son, Mujtabi Khamenei will assume the top role while his father was still alive. So that's great, exciting news. And that is just the news article. But then when you go to Twitter, you see they're talking about this on Twitter. Let me show you. Here you go. Oh, no, we want to show you that one later. Somebody asked me, do I know about the Iranian rial? Hold on. I'll bring that up in 1 minute. So let me see what they're talking about on Twitter about his passing. My major source for geopolitical news on Twitter is Ariel. So if you don't follow him, you should. Let me see if you can see. I'm going to bring up his post. This is Ariel on Twitter. Let me see here. This is what his page looks like. So Ariel, you want to follow him on Twitter. I've been following him since he had, not that many followers. And now he has like almost 500,000 followers. Oh, he's talking about the zig about to hit the Forex. But let me show you what he said about the death. Did he say anything about the death? Hold on. Oh, he retweeted Dustin Mills. The supreme leader of Iran, Ayatollah Khamenei, has reportedly fallen into a coma and died. So let me tell you, it seems like it's just a coincidence, but these things, certain events do coincide with this. Ariel said this is not a coincidence that all of these accidents happen in an election year. Go look into the Harrison Deal story, who worked with Kelly Loefflinger campaign in Georgia. Oh, that's something else. So let me show you what's going on with the Iranian rial. As somebody said in the comment section. Ariel, can you guys see that? Let me know that you can see it in the chat. For you all that don't know, today we're going to talk about the fact that the Iranian leader passed and how that's going to escalate the global currency reset, the revaluation of currencies, and the reinstatement of currencies back to their normal value. So here we go. This is Ariel's post. He said, this is hot off the press. What did I tell you all? Did you order the Iranian rial like I suggested? Did you get the Vietnamese dong? Did you buy Zimbabwe notes like I suggested? Because you are but a hair's away from cashing in. Many people are going to have a hard time sleeping tonight. And I didn't even know he had posted this last night. I just could not sleep. Something must be going on in the ethers. Because regarding if it pops up tomorrow on the Forex is probably what he means, you will not know how to get comfortable simply because it looks like it's already on there based on the chart below. And this is what the chart shows. Look at this. He retweeted Majid, and I follow Majid here. You see, I can follow him. He says, are you freaking kidding me? The Iranian rial changed $2.38 per one Iranian rial. This currency is from the first basket. Vietnamese dong change. Indonesian rupiah changed too. Iraq is going to go on the Forex tomorrow, he says. And here you can see in investing.com what the Iranian rial did. It just increased. Look at that. See how much it increased? Isn't that awesome? So it's interesting that it increased at the same time that the Iranian leader was announced as being in a coma. Okay, I'll put all of these links in the description section. So with Ayatollah Ali Khamenei dying, that sped up the process of things that were going on in the Middle East. And then let me look at my notes. And that Yeah, that speeds up the process because allegedly he was causing the delay, or his administration was causing delay. Now, you know that in order for the global currency reset to become known and move as official and be announced officially, that all of the corruption has to be taken out all over the world. So government leaders are passing away. Some of them have died. Some of them are forced to retire or to step down. Others of them have faced military tribunals for participating in banking fraud or other nefarious activities like trafficking of, money, people, drugs, guns, or whatever. So those leaders have faced military tribunals behind the scenes, but a lot of people just didn't know about that because, as I spoke on my live yesterday, if you bring out information before the people are ready or before things line up geopolitically, then you can have civil unrest. So to prevent that from happening, they just trickle out information little by little in order to make sure that people are able to receive that information. Now, the Iranian leader passing away is important in terms of global news because I don't know if you guys remember this, but I told you, I want to say a week ago, that there was a prophecy that Kim Clement had given before Donald Trump became the president. Kim Clement was a prophet. He was I don't know if he was Pentecostal, but he was a minister and a prophet who actually prophesied that President Donald Trump would become the president before he became the president in 2016. He also gave a prophecy that said, when you hear of Israel saying that they're going to attack the Iranian nuclear power plants, then you know that the Iraqi dinar is about to revalue. That's exactly what he said. And I gave you that report. Where was that? Here. You can look on my YouTube channel. It might be on my Rumble channel as well. But here, this was October 18th. So that was a month ago. I said, breaking financial news, Iraq promises to raise the Iraqi dinar and gold and silver soar. But in that podcast, I told you, I said, Kim Clement prophesied that the dinar would revalue and make a lot of people wealthy during this time. Meanwhile, gold and silver soar, reaching all-time highs. That's what happened last month. So if you go back and listen to that report, you'll see that I said Kim Clement had actually made this prophecy. And I said, so get ready. The dinar is about to pop, because there's always been conflict in the Middle East for a while between Iraq and Iran. And then, also Israel. Allegedly, Iran was holding up what was supposed to happen with the Iraqi dinar. But I told you all, Kim Clement said, when Israel threatens to attack the Iranian nuclear power plants, that is a precursor to these currencies in the Middle East actually trading and therefore making a lot of people who hold Middle Eastern currencies very wealthy. Now, why is that? Because historically, what would happen is when a country refused to trade with the dollar or didn't want to trade with the dollar, or they had problems with the American government, United States Incorporated, I should say, the United States Incorporated would say, oh, you don't want to use our dollar? Okay, well, then we'll send war over into your country. And so they would decimate the dollar through war and decimate their economies, decimate their infrastructure and everything, while funding both sides of the war. And then the country's currencies over in the Middle East and all over the world, even in Venezuela, would devalue and go down. So people at the highest levels, like corporate workers, CEOs of banks, presidents of different countries, will go into those countries that have been devalued through war or devalued through sanctions and buy up the country's currencies while they were low, hold on to them, wait for America to go back into the countries and rebuild the infrastructure, which then would make the GDP go up, and also the currencies will go up or be reinstated or be revalued back to their normal value. And then those people who would buy those currencies would then go to the bank. Now that there's a new exchange rate, and get a higher exchange rate on those currencies and become very wealthy. So you had a lot of people high up in military, in governments, and in different corporations that knew this information that became millionaires and billionaires overnight. Well, we the people did not have that information. We didn't know. We were kept in the dark. Well, now the creator, source, wherever you call the creator, has allowed us to know this information. And the so-called Galactic Federation of Light, or those interdimensional beings that are here on the planet to help us, to help lift the vibrations of the planet, to take us out of debt slavery, to take us out of economic and financial slavery. Now they've allowed us to know this information so that we too can become very wealthy. And this is the precursor to the time when we won't need money at all. However, before we get to that place of where we don't need any money, Source, the creator, and our galactic family desires for us to experience what it's like to live in a society where we don't have to beg for food and where we don't have to work for somebody else in order to live. So this is a wonderful, exciting time to be alive. So this is something that different people are coming out with, just to let you know that you should be looking at these things, that you should be keeping your vibrations high and sharing the information with those people that you think can handle this type of information. Now, what else did I want to tell you? I'm just so excited, family. Let's see. Oh, we do have some Nesara and Gesara news as well. Some of you already know because you listened to my podcast on yesterday and the day before, but the Guyanese president made an announcement that he's giving each citizen $100,000. He's also said that he's going to give those citizens that live abroad or overseas the same opportunity to have $100,000 into their accounts. But those citizens have to come back home. Now, we've been saying that to everybody. Don't worry about, we should be upset about the illegal people that are here in our country or that are in your prospective countries, wherever you are. However, in order for them to receive the National Economic Security and Reformation Act benefits and the global version of that, the Global Economic Security and Reformation Act benefits, they have to return to their own countries. Okay. I did a podcast about a day or two ago on what the Nesara Gesara is. So you can go back and look at that. But basically, the farmers took the United States Incorporated to court, as well as the Washita Empress, who is the Empress of the Washita Nation, indigenous Aboriginal people here in America. She took the United States Incorporated to court, the elite bloodline families that run things, and the Federal Reserve Central Banking System to court at the same time. And the reason why they took them to court, the Washita Empress took the elite, the so-called elite to court, because the Louisiana Purchase was actually a Louisiana theft where they stole land from the Aboriginal indigenous people here, the Moors, M-U-U-R-S. She took them to court and won $85 quadrillion in her claim, and that's to come to all of the Americans. Now, the MA will start with the Aboriginal Americans first, also known as the copper-colored people found here by Christopher Columbus, or the so-called Blacks, the African Americans. By now, if you've been following me, you know that the slavery story is a lie. We didn't come from the transatlantic slave ship. We were already here. We're from different Indian or indigenous nations, but we're all American, and we're all going to receive so-called reparations because we have all been enslaved. Okay, she won her claims, but let's get back to the farmers' claims, because the farmers took the elite family, the elite families, also known as the federal government, which is the United States Incorporated, to court and said that they've been forcing the farmers to sow Monsanto seeds. Those are the plants that make us sick, seeds that were not organic. They were not heirloom seeds. Okay. They made them spray with all kinds of chemicals, and they made them grow or groom or herd sick cows and feed them foods and medicines that would make us sick in order for them to get a loan from the banks. So the central banking system is a part of the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve central banking system is the central banking system of the United States Incorporated. Okay, so the farmers took the United States Incorporated to court and a federal banking system and said, not only did they make us do these bad things in exchange for their loans. But if we said no, they would take our land away and they will unalive us. So when they took them to court, not only did some of them end up missing, but so did their attorneys. Their attorneys came up missing and passed away. But the farmers forged on. They went all the way up to the Supreme Court. They went to world courts. They did whatever they had to do. And they too won their claims. And it was decided there. And I have spoken to people who are a part of those claims, both that claim and the Ouachita Moors claim against the deep state. It was decided that the farmers would receive a whole lot of money and will be paid out once our republic is restored. And then during the hearings, they were told that they would form a military, which we now know is called the Grand Army of the Republic, and world leaders, which is called a global alliance, to take down the deep state all over the world. The deep state being the so-called global elite families. They would take them down and they would put them through military tribunals, and they would freeze their assets. And that's why President Trump came up with Executive Order 13813. And that was to freeze the assets of anybody involved in crimes against humanity. So when the farmers won their claims, they were told, and this was like in the 70s when they first started taking the United States Incorporated to court. They were told, okay, when the republic is restored and everything's taken care of, you guys are going to be paid first, but we're also going to pay the American people, because we've determined that not only were you all mistreated and you all were forced to take out loans that you shouldn't have been forced to take out, and you all were charged interest, but that's happened to the American people here and to people all over the globe. And so those claims, that law became known as Nesara, the National Economic Security and Reformation Act, and the global version of that is Gesara, the Global Economic Security and Reformation Act. So again, in order to receive that money, every country's citizens or sovereigns, that's the proper word for it, have to be in their home country. So I think it's great news that the Guyanese government has made that announcement, because if it's happened for them, it's going to happen for us. And I'm actually excited for them. I'm happy for them. I'm not one of those that's saying, what about us? What about America? Because listen, I'm happy for my brothers and sisters there. This is a publication from MSN.com. It's going to happen for all of us, family. And I'm excited that it's happening in those nations that suffered what I think the most, especially those underdeveloped nations, so-called third world nations. You know, they were sanctioned. They had, many of these nations had wars. You know, many of these nations were under a lot of conflict. So for this country to make this public announcement is huge. That lets us know that Gesara is happening. President Afar Ali has modified the government's previous cash grant proposal, announcing a direct payment of $100,000 to each Guyanese adult who is 18 years or older by January the 1st, 2004. The revised strategy replaces the earlier household-based approach, focusing on individual eligibility and streamlined distribution. In a comprehensive broadcast across radio, television, and internet platforms, Ali detailed the new grant mechanism. The payment will require verification through national identification. In other words, they have to prove that they are a national from this country, Guyana, South America, or they have to provide a valid Guyanese passport, ensuring a transparent and equitable process. Vice President Dr. Bharat Jagdeo revealed that a specialized software application is currently under development right now as we speak to manage the grants distribution. The digital platform will include mandatory fields for citizen information, including personal details, contact information, identification, and geographical location. So in other articles, what he said was he's going to start issuing out this direct payment immediately in November, and they will be finished by January the 1st. Why is this happening right now? Because we are in a debt jubilee cycle. We are in the platinum jubilee year, and princes Elizabeth Rodriguez Ruiz told us this when she came on my platform, and I interviewed her twice. She is the sole executor of the Rodriguez Trust, the King Solomon Trust, and the Saint Germain Trust, and she will be the one that will initiate the trust, that the unlocking of these trusts that will inject trillions of dollars in the global economy. You can find her interview with me, where I interview her twice, on my YouTube channel at Dr. Kia Pruitt and on my Rumble channel. You want to look at those videos. They are so encouraging. She is from the Philippines. And for those of you who have been following the Philippines, you know that Yamashita's Gold is in the Philippines. You know, there's a book called Gold Warriors that's very good. That will also be used. You know that Karen, was her name Karen Hughes, Hughes, Hudes. She was a whistleblower from the World Bank that told us that there was lots of gold in the Philippines. She said that the World Bank and the World Trade Organization was holding up money that's supposed to be injected into the global economy that would free humanity, that would pay off all the debt of all the world countries, and will also pay off all our personal debts and get rid of all credit card loans, mortgage loans, car loans, student loans. All those bank loans will be wiped away. Karen Hughes, Hughes, Hudes, had given many interviews on her channel on YouTube. So look for her. Again, she was a whistleblower for the World Trade Organization, I think it was. She worked at the top level in the banking system. She's a banking executive. And she, throughout the process of her time coming out as a whistleblower, she started getting sicker and sicker. And she was saying she felt like they were sending electromagnetic pulses and waves through her home and to her body. And eventually she passed away. And we watched her decline too. It's really, really sad. However, I'm just letting you know, she gave us information about Yamashita's gold and lots of gold being in the Philippines that's supposed to be used to liberate humanity. That was her letting us know by soft disclosure that it's real, that we're all going to be set free. So Nesara and Gesara, yes, it's real. Even in America, some people are saying they looked at their student loans accounts and it's paid miraculously. Car loans being paid. That happened in my family. With one of my sons was like, Mom, they're telling me my student loans is paid. This was a couple of years ago. People have come on my platform and said they're not only have the car loans been paid, other loans have been paid off, mortgage loans disappeared. One of my friends tried to pay off a bank loan and they told her, no, take your money back. And they showed her it's paid in full. And she kept trying to force them, no, take it. I don't want any penalty. They said, look, it says paid in full. We don't know who did it, but it's paid, so you're good. This is happening all around the world. Thank you for 1,000 people being in the chat. Good morning. We're talking about how the leader of Iran, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, has suffered from what's he suffered from? A coma. He suffered from some kind of illness, slipped into a coma, and reportedly passed away. So the Guyanese government not only is giving their citizens that are at home money, you can see from this article, overseas-based Guyanese are eligible for the $100,000 grant. Guyanese living abroad will also be eligible to collect the $100,000 cash grant, with the caveat that they have to be in Guyana for the registration process and be in possession of a national ID card or passport. See, they have to prove their identification. Further, the grant has to be uplifted in person. They can't be somewhere else, in the form of cash or check. Wait a minute. Let me see. Further, the grant has to be uplifted in person in the form of cash or check, depending on their location. There's no residency requirement for the receipt. Hope y'all can see that. Let me read that again. There's no residency requirement for the receipt of the cash grant. So that makes Guyanese living abroad who have an ID card or passport also eligible for the cash grant. Vice President Bharat Jagdeo announced yesterday. And when did that happen? This was announced. This was actually published on October 25 of this year, 2024. But I'm just learning about it a few days ago, because when I was talking about Nesara and Gesara on my YouTube podcast, a Guyanese woman let me know that this was going on in her country. And she was like, it's happening, Dr. Kia, this is real. And I'll see if I can find that her comment for you. 1 second. Let me see which one it was. Can't remember which podcast it was, but I'm going to show you her comment in 1 minute. Yep, here it is. Okay, just so you guys can know, this is somebody that's from Guyana. Happy Sunday, family. I did a podcast called We Are So Close to Our Liberation on YouTube, and I answered questions about Nesara. So if you get a chance, you can see that on YouTube or Rumble. But here's her comment here. She said, it's happening in Guyana, South America. The government is issuing $100,000 cash grant. So thank you, Sister Sue. I appreciate you for sharing that with us. The government is issuing $100,000 cash grant to all its citizens over 18 years of age. The distribution starts as of November 2024 for seniors and public servants first, then the rest to citizens. She said, I thought you'd like to know. So it's happening, guys. And I was saying, my goodness, this is great news. Thanks for sharing. And the Shah 1981 says the Guyana dollar will soon have purchasing power, showing its true value, making it become invaluable very soon and bringing back power to the people. Because some people were saying to me, the Guyanese dollar isn't worth anything. So who cares about $100,000? Look, I wish we would stay positive. Okay. All countries have repatriated their gold back from the Vatican, and that gold, as well as the resources that the countries have, will back their currencies, and their currencies will be reinstated back to their normal and lawful value. So this is exciting news. They will receive their currencies, the money that's backed by the resources that are in their nation. So let's keep our vibrations high and know that things are moving for our soul family all over the world. Sue says, again, the grant is being offered also to Guyanese living overseas, but they have to uplift their checks in Guyana with Guyanese identification. Sister Sheena says, it's going to happen. We command it to be so, and we demand it to be so. Dr. Pruitt, I agree with you, and I stand in agreement with you. And the reason why she says that is because I've been telling everybody, we don't have to beg God and say, please let this happen. Okay, we can command it to happen because we have source living within us. So it is one of the universal laws that we all are one and we all are made of source. Source lives in us. We come from source. We return to source. As such, you have power to command your blessings to be so. And that's what I've been doing. I've been saying for the long. I command Gesara and Nesara to happen this year. I command us to realize our prosperity. I command peace. I command love. I command prosperity for humanity all across the globe. And I command justice and liberation for all of our soul family members. So that's why we see it happening. Because we command it to be so, and because we have people here working in the military, some who have been working for free to take down corruption and end corruption all across the globe, as well as rescuing our children that are in a deep underground military bases. Now, I tried to share the news that the Guyanese people were receiving benefits and that we were realizing Gesara and Nesara right now. In my podcast the other day, I did share it on YouTube and Rumble. I tried to share it on TikTok. And do you know TikTok banned that video? Why? They also banned any videos that I said that I make on TikTok whereby I proclaim that President Donald Trump is the president. Now, we already know he's the president-elect. Even if I just say he's the president-elect, they will say I'm violating community standards. They do not want us to know that President Trump is making some major moves right now. And not only he, but world leaders all over the globe who are working with him to take down the deep state and liberate the planet financially and take off the chains of financial enslavement and debt. Let's see what our family over in Instagram is saying. Thank you for joining, family. Yeah, that's gang stalking. I agree. So one of our soul family members brought up Spain. Let's see what's going on in Spain. Remember, they're ending corruption all over the globe. So let's see what's happening in Spain. This is MSN.com. Spain has arrested one of its top police officials after 20 million euros were found hidden in the walls of his house as part of a probe into the country's largest ever cocaine bust. Described as discreet and hardworking, Oscar Sanchez Gil was until recently the head of the fraud and anti-money laundering division of Spain's national police force in Madrid. Officers arrested him last week along with 15 other people, including his romantic partner, a police source told AFP. The source did not name the romantic partner, who is also a police officer in the Madrid region. During the raid, police found 20 million euros, or around 21.1 million, in cash hidden in the walls and ceilings of the couple's home in Alcalá del Henares, a town of around 195,000 inhabitants, located some 18 miles east of the Spanish capital. Officers also uncovered 1 million euros in his office, hidden in 2 locked cupboards, and bills of 50 to 500 euros, according to the police source. I'll put that in the description section for you, family. So it's happening. Corruption has been put to a halt in many nations all over the globe. And since we were speaking earlier about Iran and how the Iranian reals, the rate of it has changed, and we showed you, you can look it up. We showed you what they've been talking about on Twitter about it. Let's talk about Iraq. In 2022, al-Sudani, or was it 2023? I can't remember if it was November 2022 or 2023, but al-Sudani came out and said that the former government before me allowed a lot of corruption to happen. He said, we tend not to do that on my watch. He said, I am ending endemic corruption in my country of Iraq. I am working with the Central Bank of Iraq to revalue my currency. And I'm working with other nations to return my stolen money. I reported on that when he said that, made that announcement. It must have been last year, 2023. Then after that, he started working to get rid of corruption out of his nation. He started working with the United States Treasury Department to come up with a trading platform. He came to Washington, D.C. and met with government officials to talk about the Iraqi dinar revaluing and what the trading platform would look like, and how he wanted some American billionaires and American entrepreneurs to invest in his country. So corruption has been dealt with in Iran, Iraq, with the death of Ayatollah, what's his name? Ayatollah Khamenei. That's Iran. In Iraq, it's been dealt with by al-Sudani, the Iraqi leader. In America, we know it's been dealt with because President Donald Trump has been working with the Global Alliance and the white hats of the military to end corruption here. So what we heard could happen now, first of all, is pay attention to the Forex at 5:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to see what's going to happen with some of these currencies, see if they would trade openly on the Forex. Somebody in the comment section asked me if I think we should be paying attention to, or do I think a change will happen at 5:00 on the Forex? I said possibly, because I was told the same thing this morning to pay attention. What else should we be looking forward to? President Trump is already making moves. He met with Biden a couple of days ago in DC, and they were calling it on, was it Fox News or CNN, a historic meeting, because they had met or seen each other since they were doing a debate. But why else was they calling it a historic meeting? I'm not sure. And we know that President Trump may come forward with an emergency broadcast system announcement. If he doesn't do it, it may be the military, because the Brunson case against Joseph Biden and Kamala Harris, Nancy Pelosi and 385 members of Congress, allegedly has been heard already by the Supreme Court of the United States. And not only has it been heard, but they have ruled in favor of the Brunson brothers. So briefly, you guys should, most of you know this, the Brunson brothers are trumpet players. You can have it. My grandbabies. The Brunson brothers are trumpet players who brought a case against Joseph Robinette Biden, Kamala Harris, Nancy Pelosi, and 385 members of Congress, said that they pose a security breach in our nation, allowing hundreds of thousands of illegal aliens to come over here, take resources from our country, have welfare benefits, and vote illegally and unlawfully. Not only that, does that pose a security breach by allowing illegal aliens to vote in our country? And they didn't even have to show an ID. This even happened this year, where people were not asked to show their ID at some of the voting places. So the case said that they pose a security breach by allowing illegals in our country, and by allegedly, and now we know that is not even alleged, we know that they allow and may have participated in election fraud. When they brought that case against the Biden administration, it was determined that if the Supreme Court found them guilty, then all of that whole administration will have to have all of their credentials stripped. They will face military tribunals, have all their assets frozen, and they can never, ever serve again. Now, we know they can't serve again because the penalty for TREASON is being eliminated, DEATH. But for those who may be able to slip by, and maybe it's decided that they don't get that penalty, they will have their asset frozen and all of their credentials stripped, and they may never serve again. So we were waiting, because the Brunson brothers brought that case forward to the Supreme Court in 2022. We were waiting to see if they would hear it. They refused to hear the case. So that was very disappointing. I did interview Lloyd Brunson twice, and we had never heard anything. They just said they refused to hear it. But Lloyd Brunson found a loophole. Who is a trumpet player? Now, what are the chances of him being a trumpet player during, this time where Trump is playing the Trump card against the deep state, okay, to bring this case against the deep state themselves as trumpet players. So he said to me, and you can look on my channel on both YouTube and Rumble, where I interviewed him twice, but on the last time he said, I found a loophole in a law that says that if the Supreme Court doesn't hear this case against Biden, Harris, Pelosi, and 385 members of Congress, then they too could face the penalty of TREASON. Because anytime you hear a case or know of a case and it's been submitted to you, the Supreme Court, that our country could be in danger, where you have illegal people, taking over our government, staging a coup d'etat, taking over the elections, then you're jeopardizing the freedoms of the American people, then you too are becoming treasonous. So when he brought that to the Supreme Court justices, they became afraid. They're like, oh my God, we got to hear this case, because we could, we'd be facing treason, and the penalty for high treason is being eliminated, right? So what happened is that the liberal justices started recusing themselves from the case. Look at my live from yesterday and the day, I think it's either yesterday or the day before, where I actually showed you an article, and I named 3 of the liberal judges who recused themselves from the case. They stepped down. They said, we can't hear the case. We can't be unbiased. Some of them didn't even give a reason. They just recused themselves. Then there was a writ of memorandus, and I show you the writ of memorandus. You can find that in my live from yesterday. Look in the description section. There was a writ of memorandus that was accepted that allowed Clarence Thomas to single-handedly, independently hear the case for himself. He can either lead the Supreme Court in deciding on that case against Biden, Harris, Pelosi, and 385 members of Congress, or he can independently decide for himself, right? So we don't know if we were told that nobody knows if he actually heard the case or not. But we do know that the mainstream media reported that he was missing. And I did a report on that when he so-called went missing. They were like, he's not showing up for court hearings. He's not even reporting from home. If he were sick, he could just report from home. If I find that article again, I'll put it in the description section, because I do have it. I put it in the article when I reported it, when that occurred this summer. So they were like, where is Justice Thomas? Well, we know that most likely he was being protected by the military because he had, in fact, heard the case against Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and Nancy Pelosi, and 385 members of Congress. So this is what could come forward and come out very, very soon, that it's been decided by the Supreme Court in favor of the trumpet players, the Brunson brothers, that in fact our country had been at risk, put at risk. In fact, that voter fraud had occurred in the 2020 elections and 2022 elections. And when that announcement comes out, that could totally make the Biden administration null and void. And since President Trump is now the president-elect, what do you think will happen? He could just step in and come out before January the 20th, before the inauguration. So big things are popping, family. Stay encouraged. Keep your vibration high. Things are moving. Money is moving. Okay. In fact, I heard that, I don't know if you guys know about whales. Whales are people who are big investors. I heard that some of the whales allegedly have already exchanged their currencies. And we were hearing some things about that. Some of the information that I've heard about that, I'm not going to disclose because I don't know if, some of these private groups want that information. Some of the other information that I heard come out. But let's just say some people are saying that they've seen a lot of money pop up in their accounts. Some of these whales are these, people that have like suitcases full of money, millionaires that have all of this foreign currency. By the way, I've done several reports that says that banks have met globally to make sure that they're prepared for your tier 2 assets. Tier 2 assets are foreign currencies. Okay. They made sure that they're ready to receive those tier 2 assets because banks need those tier 2 assets in order to maintain the health of the banks, is what the article said. One of those articles has since been scrubbed from the internet, but I do have a broadcast, and I'll put it in the description section for you too, where I'm actually reading the article. So you'll be able to see that I read the article before they could even scrub it from the internet. But banks have met globally to determine their preparedness and ensure that they're ready to receive tier 2 assets, which are your foreign currencies, because this money, when you go and do the exchange and put that money in their banks, it will keep them from going bankrupt, is what they said. It will ensure that the banks will not go bankrupt. Additionally, the Supreme Court this summer ruled that state-sponsored banks here in America can operate outside of the Federal Reserve banking system. So state-sponsored banks can have their own charter, and they can issue out their own gold-backed currencies. So they're no longer controlled by the Federal Reserve central banking system. By the way, the Federal Reserve, along with the United States Incorporated, they're all, and the Federal Reserve banks are now insolvent and bankrupt. And so is the United States Incorporated. The United States Incorporated is the group of bloodline families that formed and called themselves a government, but they're not. They're elite bloodline family members, so-called elite bloodline family members, that some of them are draconian, some of them are reptilian, some of them are not human, or they're human hybrids where they made it with humans. And they and their children, and maybe some humans that they brought on with them, usurped authority from our lawful government, the Republic. So we've always had a Republic standing. The Republic was based on the Iroquois people, their Constitution. The Iroquois people actually created the Constitution for the Republic, a lawful government that we already had here standing in America with our Constitution for the Republic. Well, then the bloodline families came along, usurped authority from the government here, made the Aboriginal people here prisoners of war, overtook their Constitution, incorporated themselves as the United States Incorporated in the state of Delaware in 1871, and incorporated as a nonprofit religious organization with the Pope as the head. Okay, that's why it's nonprofit religious organization. They created their own constitution called the Constitution of the United States Incorporated, and their own policies, statutes, and codes, not laws, policies, statutes, and codes. The Constitution for the Republic has laws. The Constitution of the United States Incorporated has statutes, codes, and policies, which is why they have policy enforcers known as police officers. You can fact check me and look all across America. Police departments are closing down and transferring the duties of the police department back into the hands and the jurisdiction of the sheriff, because the sheriff, and some people say even the U.S. Marshals, but I know the sheriff department for sure is the law enforcement for the republic. The republic is in place and has always been running side by side with the United States Incorporated. But now that the United States Incorporated is defunct, bankrupt, and insolvent, and all of their powers taken down, their assets frozen, many of them have gone through military tribunals already. Some of them are waiting at Guantanamo Bay to be judged. So that's out of here. We still have the republic standing. When Trump comes back, with or without the military, or when the military comes back and make that emergency broadcast system announcement, letting us know of all these things that's been going on, that is us know that the elections in 2020 and 2022 were fraudulent, then we know that it's time for us to realize our prosperity, sovereignty, and peace in America and all across the globe. Now, that's one scenario that I've been told that could happen and will most likely happen. But whether President Trump comes before 2020 when he's inaugurated or not, please know that the deep state has lost this war. And this is why you have countries that were allowed to or now empowered to announce that they've joined BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, that whole coalition to stop trading with the dollar and use their own currencies for trade and go back to the gold standard. So I've done many, many podcasts about BRICS since 2022, but we've been talking about gold since I've been in Africa, since I lived in Africa in 2014 and 2015. So not only are things moving all across the globe with BRICS saying we're not trading with the United States dollar, but here in America, more than 45 states have already reclaimed silver and gold as money in alignment with the United States Constitution, or the Constitution for our republic. So that's what I wanted to bring to you today, family, that things are moving, that the Iranian leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has passed away. And this will free up the Iranian rial to be reinstated to its rightful value. I showed you that the Iranian rial has increased. At the same time, it was like, I think it was right before it was announced that he died, but we knew he had slipped into a coma. People just started texting me and letting me know that the Iranian rial had increased in value. Let me show it to you again. Iranian rial changed $2.38 per one Iranian rial. This currency is from the first basket. The Vietnamese dong changed, and the Indonesian rupiah changed too, according to one source. Somebody says Iraq is going to Forex tomorrow, which is today, I think. Yeah, which is today. So tomorrow would be Monday, but that's 5:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today must be 8:00 a.m., 8 or 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the Middle East. See that? So that's encouraging news. And for those of you just checking in, we also announced how the Guyanese government said that he is going to give each of their citizens $100,000. $100,000 grant as long as they're over 18 and they can prove their nationality. He's going to give it to them whether they're in his country or abroad. But in order to receive the benefits, they have to come back home. Let's see if we're missing anything else. I don't think there's anything else I wanted to bring to your attention, family. Thank you for joining the live or all across all of our platforms. I think that's it, family. I hope that I said something to encourage you, and I hope that you pay attention to the Forex today at 5:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hello, family. I see you all checking in. Thank you. Yes, because I hope you pay attention to what's going to happen 5:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because the rumor has it that the Iranian rial or the Iraqi dinar could show up on the Forex. Patriot Mama says, do you think 5 o'clock we'll see changes on the Forex? Possibly. Oh, share the link for Spain. Here we go. 1 minute. I'll put it in the chat for you guys. And I'm going to put it in the description section, okay, for you on the description part of YouTube and Rumble. I just added that for you, sister. Oh, thank you, Brother Gary. God bless you. Oh, I'm so honored. Thank you so much for the super sticker for the $50 blessing. I am so grateful. May God bless you 100-fold for sowing into my podcast and into the work that I'm doing. I really appreciate it. Thank you. It's the energies coming in, family, right? Oh, you've been up all night too? I could not sleep. One of my brothers and I were on the phone like in the middle of the night, just talking for about an hour or two. We could not sleep. Valley Ford's in the house. Let me show you if I could find. Yes, I love Ariel as well. What did you say? Let's just pray, everyone. Just like on a reservation, chemtrails and vaccines should depop the payroll. Chemtrails and some of the things that we saw in the air for many, many years has been chemtrails, but I was told that some of the stuff they're spraying in the air now is something to neutralize the chemtrails. And if they hadn't done it, more people would have passed away by now because of all of the poison they were putting in the air. This is the best time to be alive in the entire world. Do I know if the Guyanese dollars, I don't know if it'll be in the Guyanese dollars or the US. I'm assuming it'll be in their currency, but it should be backed by their resources. Hello. Dalton says hello from Ecuador. Greetings from Ecuador. Will the Ecuadorian sucre revalue as well? All countries around the globe will revalue or be reinstated back to their lawful value based on the resources, yes, that country, that Ecuador has. And Ecuador has resources. Absolutely. Absolutely. Also, Karen Hudes worked for the World Bank, and she was the whistleblower that talked about how the World Trade Organization and so many of the banks were actually keeping away the information about the gold that was in the Philippines that was supposed to be put forward to pay off the debt in America and around the world, and the gold and some of the trusts that were supposed to inject trillions of dollars into the global economy. Because this had been decided a while ago that humanity was going to be free from debt, slavery, and humanity was going to realize wealth and prosperity. But the elite families, elite families, which many of them were not even human, was keeping this information from us. Karen Hudes came out and started speaking about that. And again, she was a whistleblower for the World Trade Organization. She opened the eyes of a lot of people all across the world on her podcast on YouTube. You can still find her broadcast on YouTube. And this is how you I think you spell her name Hudes. Thank you so much, Oremi. Who's that? Ome Email. I can find it for you. YouTube. Karen Hudes. So let me show you guys. And I used to watch her very, very often. And I saw her as she was declining. And then I heard that she passed away. This was a couple years ago. I think she passed away. This is what she looks like, Karen Hudes. At the time of her passing, she had 44.9 subscribers, about 45,000 subscribers. She did 274 videos. And this is what she looked like. By the time she passed away, you could tell she was just shrinking right before our eyes. It was so sad. But go to her channel and you can see how she's talking about how the wealth had been held up by these elite family members. Virginia erasing personal property taxes on everything beginning January the 1st, 2025. Letters were received in the mail. Thank you for telling us this. OMEEMO. Thank you. That's great news. Virginia is erasing personal property taxes because, according to Nesara and Gesara law, there will be no taxes. No income tax, no property tax. The only taxes we should see that I'm aware of is property 14% tax on big ticket items. That's it. So this is excellent news. Things are moving, family. Mama Kia is delusional. Everyone wants someone else to pay your debt. Okay. Well, let me be happy in my delusion, sweetheart. Hopefully you'll see, what we're talking about. Hopefully you'll realize and experience. And if you don't, hey, you could choose to stay in a 3D reality where you remain in slavery. Anybody, that's everybody's choice. I'm choosing to raise the vibrations of our soul family. Anybody under the sound of my voice, things are happening. We told you Donald Trump would win. We told you that, when I say we, I mean everybody who knew it would happen, and the people who just was hoping it would happen. We spoke it into existence. We told you that the deep state would be taken down. We told you that children would be rescued from the deep underground military bases. We told you on this channel that Vladimir Putin was cleaning out the deep underground military bases when he went over to the Ukraine and exposing all the stuff and sending that information to James Comer, who's over the House Oversight Committee. I just heard his name come out on the news the other day because it's time for not only this Supreme Court of the United States to rule against the 2020 elections and 2022 elections, which they already overturned it. And I showed you a video yesterday where somebody else said it other than me, just so you can know there are other people saying it. But not only that, but James Comer's evidence against Biden, you can find it right now on the House Oversight Committee's website. Go to oversight.house.gov or just Google House Oversight Committee, and you will see that the chairperson, James Comer, has all type of evidence against Biden. So go to oversight.house.gov or Google the House Oversight Committee. And in the search engine, you know how they have a little magnifying glass? Type in BIDEN, and you'll see all this evidence. You'll see how people defected and left his army or his cartel and blew the whistle on him. And they gave their witness information against him. You'll see checks that he wrote the Chinese Communist Party. You'll see evidence against his son. You'll see evidence that he was involved in laundering in the Ukraine, evidence that he's done things to people all over the world, including little people. It's a lot of evidence against that man. Okay, so things are happening, family. Grand Rising, Brother Albert. Oh, you guys keep seeing commercials on my live. Wow. For real, I could use 100,000 too, Sister Karen. Some people have been saying, oh, that's not a lot of money. That's nothing. Look, it sure will help me out. Good morning, Kevin. Good to see you. Yeah, things will happen here in America. Absolutely. The company's still collecting the mortgage and car bill and bills right now, but that's not going to last long. It's going to cease. I'm seeing if you guys have any questions, family. John Jones, the UFC fighter, gave it up for Jesus Christ yesterday live. Trump was in attendance. That's awesome. Whew, I'm so glad to hear all this too, Tamika, Sister Tamika. We've been in this for a long time, right? Beginning with our group that we had years ago. Can you believe it's been almost a decade? Goodly goo from our ACH group days. And remember when when Facebook shut down our group, we had almost 100,000 people in that group. We were trying to help each other do certain things, pay off our bills. We had discovered our we had discovered so much. We had discovered the social security numbers that many of the elite were using. They were using our social security numbers to trade. And they were making millions and billions and trillions of dollars using our social security numbers. We discovered so much in that group. And that kind of led us to where we are today, following geopolitics, learning more about foreign currencies, and overstanding the principles of Nesara and Gesara. You're welcome. Phoenix Rising says, thank you from South Africa. It's my pleasure. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's intentional that they're putting commercials during the live. Good day, Brother Anthony. You've been following us for a long time. God bless you. Thank you. Who is that? Patriot Mama. Amazing podcast. Good. Thank you. Oh, what about XRP? Big things are happening today on the 17th. Absolutely, Copper Goddess. Absolutely. XRP has exploded, the Spiritual Viking says. So for those of you who are into digital assets, XRP is exploding. Michael George is in agreement. So here is the news about the Spain arrest that I just showed you. I'll put it in the description section so you can see the whole article. I love you too, all the time. You're welcome. Yes, it's time to do the happy dance. You're welcome, CK. I love you. Rial is said to go to $3.80, the Iranian rial, according to Hugh B. the Saint. Happy Sunday, Beach Life. I know I've been very busy, haven't I? I started since Friday. You're welcome. Okay, I'll keep you guys updated. Happy Sabbath. Happy Sunday. Well, Sabbath yesterday. Beach Life says, happy Sunday, Dr. Pruitt. Wow, you've been very busy. Yes. You're welcome, Cheryl. Oh, maybe at 5:17, at 17:17 today, and then today being the 17th, we'll hear some good news. Absolutely. Barbara Pittman, Dr. Pruitt, these things that were running this world are out of here for the last time. Amen. Yes, a lot of them are going to know the truth. Absolutely. Good stuff is happening. And 17 is Q. That's why we always get excited about the 17th day of the month, because we know that they're going to release information, and they have been. Q is a high military clearance that only certain people have. And those are the people that were bringing out information through certain platforms online, beginning in 2017, I think is when they started. It was either 2017 or 2018 when they started leaking information. And they were doing it covertly. You know, they wouldn't outright tell us what was happening on certain platforms online, but they would give us riddles and we had to figure things out. And what's interesting is that a lot of us independent journalists and researchers were like looking at other things before Q came out. But during that time that Q did start releasing information, it became even more exciting, because it was like, wow, we have even more evidence to support our claims that the whole world is changing, right? And the reason I knew this is in 2014 and 2015, I lived in Ghana and I saw countries over there mining for gold. I saw China mining for gold, and I started reading excerpts of a book called Africa is China's Second Continent. And I saw the European companies mining for gold. And I would take to my social media platform saying, guys, pay attention. Something weird is happening where all these people are here mining for gold, and these companies just started growing. Then it started off with, some big companies, and then some smaller companies. Then a lot of Chinese miners came over there mining illegally, and then countries from all over the place just started coming and mining in Ghana, because Ghana is called the Gold Coast. They have, they have significant amount of gold there. And so I was like, something is happening. This was 2014, 2015. And then President Trump became the president in 2016. And I put it together that, oh, okay, I can see what's happening now. And he talked about bringing us back to the republic, restoring the republic, bringing us back to a gold standard. He then nominated Dr. Judy Shelton to be the head of the Federal Reserve, because Dr. Judy Shelton has a degree, a PhD actually, in economics and business. And she is a gold bug. She believes in the gold standard. Then you started seeing bills come out like House Resolution 24 and House Resolution 25 under the Trump administration in 2017 and 2018 to monitor and to eradicate the Federal Reserve, banking system, and the IRS. Then you saw in 2018, Alexander Mooney introduced House Bill 5404 to define the dollar as a fixed weight in gold. Then he came back in 2021 and introduced House Resolution 9157. Alexander Mooney is from West Virginia. House Resolution 9157, he called the Gold Standard Restoration Act to define the dollar as a fixed weight in gold. Then he came back in 2023 and reintroduced that bill as House Resolution 2435, I think it was, or 2436. You can look it up. It's called the Gold Standard Restoration Act as well, to define the dollar as a fixed weight in gold. And what he was doing, introduced Alexander Mooney by introducing these bills, was to get the dollar to be backed by gold and silver. If you can recognize and define the dollar as a fixed weight in gold, then that is in alignment with the Constitution for the Republic that says the only thing that can be used to pay off debt, according to Article 1, Section 10, is silver and gold. And then the Constitution also defines the dollar as a fixed weight in silver. So you could see that Alexander Mooney from West Virginia was introducing these three bills initially under the Trump administration in order to move us back to the gold standard and back to the Republic. And then you had other states to start coming forward and repealing the state sales taxes from the sales of precious metals. By repealing the state sales tax from the sales of precious metals, you are reclaiming silver and gold as money, because silver and gold, once we had been taken off the gold standard in the 1970s, was no longer deemed as money. It was deemed as a commodity, like a trading card, like artifacts. And that's why you heard economists saying, don't invest in gold. Oh, it's a relic. It's outdated. Meanwhile, these gold companies were selling gold to people who were still in the know, which for the most part were people that were, who had long-standing legacies in gold, people who had money, people who were wealthy, people who just had knowledge that gold would always be used as money, people who knew that the dollar would crash someday. Okay, so now we know. And now you have states that have come out and said, we're reclaiming silver and gold. And if they don't come out and say it, what they do, they don't say it, but you'll see articles that are being released that says, Kentucky became the 45th state to repeal state sales taxes from the sales of precious metals. That's letting you know that Kentucky now is acknowledging gold and silver as money. And I've been talking about this ever since it was only 13 states. Because when I was living in Guyana, it was only 13 states in America that had repealed the state sales taxes from the sales of precious metals. And in those 13 states, you can actually buy local goods with silver and gold. Well, then state after state just started doing the same thing behind the scenes. I'm the only one that I know of that came forward and actually announced this. I remember coming forward when it was 42 states, because I had talked about the 13 states forever. And then states just start adding. I was like, we gotta like make this world news. We gotta be loud about this. Once it was 42 states, I did several podcasts. Then I talked about when the 43rd state became 43. I announced that. And then I want to say it was either Mississippi or Wisconsin. Mississippi, I think. Then Wisconsin came on. And then Kentucky became the 45th state. And then the Sound Money Defense League came out with an article that says over 45 states reclaim silver and gold as money. So when they say over 45 states, trust and believe, family. Trust and know, don't believe, because you see lie in the middle of the word believe. Know that means that over 45 states, all the states here in America are now reclaiming and recognizing gold and silver as money, which is why banks had to become Basel III compliant and recognize gold as a tier 1 asset, which means they had to now recognize gold as money, not a relic, not a commodity. The second part of Basel III compliances of the banks, and they had to all become compliant first they said before 2018, then they said before 2020, now they say before 2023. This is why you see a lot of banks like closing, because if they weren't Basel III compliant, they had to close. So they had to recognize gold as a tier 1 asset. And the second part of that is they had to be prepared to receive tier 2 assets, foreign currencies. Okay. You all know what those foreign currencies are. If you don't know, you can drop it in the chat. We named some already in this podcast. So do what you can. Only invest in what you overstand or understand. So do your research and what you can afford. Okay, because we still have to live. This is not financial advice. This is just for educational and entertainment purposes. This is what I tell my family. Sue, hey Sue, thank you for giving us that wonderful information about what's going on in Guyana, that the president is giving all citizens there $100,000. We appreciate you for letting us know the information, because that encouraged us. A lot of us were starting to wonder, like, when is Nesara and Gesara going to happen? And we see with your country it's happening now. So Sue says Guyana became an oil producing nation a few years ago. They have a booming economy. Wow. Thank you, Sister Sue. You couldn't sleep either? So stay in the love vibrations. What's the significance of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei passing away in Iran? Well, the Iranian rial went up some. And we had heard a prophecy by Kim Clement that said that when Israel threatens to attack the Iranian nuclear power plants, then know that the Iraqi dinar is about to revalue. I did a podcast when Netanyahu threatened to attack the nuclear power plants of Iran. And I said, oh, remember that Kim Clement made this prophecy that when that happens, the Iraqi dinar is about to revalue. Right after that, who was it? Al-Sudani in Iraq announced that he was going to increase the rate of his dinar on October the 15th. So all of this is tying together. So if the Iranian rial is increasing already, and if that prophecy is true, and we do know that Netanyahu threatened to hit the power plants of the Israeli power plants, he came on CNN News and said it. I have that article, and it's in the podcast that I did when he actually said it. We know that things are happening because allegedly Khamenei and Iraq was actually with holding up this process of the Iraqi dinar revaluing because of all the conflict that was going on in the Middle East. So if in fact that is true, and I know it to be so, but you have to know it for yourself, you have to do your research, then that means things are moving with the Iraqi dinar, the Iranian rial, and some other currencies that are in that Middle Eastern region. What's his name? Khamenei's passing also will most likely halt any type of war that was going to occur or could have possibly occurred in that region. And we know they don't want war because many Middle Eastern leaders made announcements when President Trump was reelected and became the president-elect that they don't want any problems. They only want world peace. And this is in alignment with the global agreement behind the scenes that 209 nations made for world peace. They made several agreements, but one was that they will have world peace. With world peace, there will be no wars in any nation all over the globe. And the second part of that in Project Sandman agreement is that they would drop the United States dollar for trade and use their own currencies backed by gold. What they did after that was repatriated their gold from the Vatican. They returned all their stolen money. Remember, Al-Sudani said that in 2022 and 2023, he was going to work with the Central Bank of Iraq to revalue his Iraqi dinar. He was going to work with countries all over the world to return his stolen money. Other countries did the same thing, and they used the gold and the resources that are in their countries to back their currencies. At the same time, they started joining the BRICS alliance, the Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa alliance. According to Project Sandman, that secret agreement between 209 nations, when triggered, they would drop the dollar for trade and start using their own currencies backed by the resources in their countries. What was the trigger? Vladimir Putin going to Ukraine. and cleaning out those deep underground military bases, exposing the laundering and all the sacrificing rituals and ritualistic abuse and all that stuff that was going on in Ukraine. Then Biden put sanctions on Vladimir Putin and said, told all the nations not to trade with Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin said, I got my own military. I'm not afraid of you. I don't need the United States dollar. He was the first to drop the United States dollar for trade. Okay. And that put all the other nations on notice. Because, again, according to the secret agreement of Project Sandman, when triggered, Vladimir Putin was that trigger, 209 nations would simultaneously drop the dollar for trade. And the reason why they had to drop the dollar for trade is because the petrodollar was actually running the world. And what gave the United States incorporated economic and financial hegemony was our agreement with Saudi Arabia to protect the Saudi kingdom in exchange for their oil. And then we would force all nations to get oil from Saudi Arabia using the United States dollar or the petrodollar. That's what gave the United States incorporated financial and economic hegemony, in summary. So if countries did not agree with us and decided to use gold, to use their own currency or whatever they wanted to do, we would just send war to their countries and decimate their economies and decimate their currency and the value of their currency. And that's when people, elite people and people who were in the know would go in those countries, buy up their currencies when the currencies had devalued or gone down in value, held on and waited to America to go back in after the war and rebuild the infrastructure, and the GDP would increase, and so would their country's currencies. Then you can just go to the bank now that the country's currencies have revalued and been reinstated back to their normal rate or revalued to a higher rate. And those people who had those currencies that they bought when it was devalued in war became wealthy overnight. So bring it back to today. The reason all this information is significant is because if you are an investor in any of these countries, you need to be paying attention to what's going on geopolitically, because that's the way you will know that it's time for the humanity to be liberated. So thank you for asking that question. Let me know in the chat, family, if this is helpful. If you need me to clarify something else, or let me know if there's too much information, too much detail, just give me an idea in the chat how I'm doing with disseminating this information. So why was this called Project Sandman? Because they're returning us from maritime law based on the waters, and admiralty law to the laws of the land, common law and constitutional law. They're returning us from maritime water law to the law of the land. Which, by the way, I just heard the other day that there are civilizations. Well, we knew there are civilizations underwater, but there are also creatures under the water that are not human. And they have something called a marine kingdom. And they said some of those spirits that are in the water ruling the marine kingdom are what we would call nefarious or bad or not in our best interests. And that is one of the reasons that we're on maritime law based on the water. So I don't know how Source is going to clean out all that, this so-called marine kingdom and what's going on. But I do know that the military has been cleaning out and uncovering a lot of things going on in the water now that I think about it, which is why there was a lot of hurricanes and a lot of stuff. Some of that stuff was HAARP, and some of that stuff very well could have been the movement of the military cleaning out these marine kingdoms and creatures that were ruling the underworld and ruling under the earth and in the waters. We know they've been cleaning out these creatures, some human hybrids in the mountains and in the forests. Okay, so a lot of this started happening en masse or on a large scale during the 2020 shutdown. And this is why it was important for people to be in the house. And that's why the National Guard was put on the ground. And if you did not abide by the curfew, they were shooting rubber pellets, because this war is very, very serious. They were trying to have as few casualties as they could. So if an emergency broadcast system announcement comes on, that would be an opportune time for us to all be in our house, pay attention to what's going on in the world, because announcements are going to be made. when I brought up that Guyanese, the article about the Guyanese president saying he's going to give all of his citizens $100,000, they said that those announcements came on the radio, on the television, on the computer, on the electronic devices. And that is likely what will happen to us here in America and all across the globe. Oh, thank you for this information. You also follow Karen? Wow, you were saddened by her passing. I was too. Beach Life says, I hear the United States Treasury Department will be gone in January 2025. And I heard that from an employee. Wow. We do know under Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, the duties of the IRS and the Federal Reserve were put underneath the United States Treasury Department. Now, my understanding is that the United States Treasury Department is the only entity that may be allowed to deal with money. So maybe they're going to change it to something else. Thank you for that information. Yeah, I don't think. Hi, Jenny Mac. Good to see you. I don't think Karen Hughes died of natural causes either. She kept telling us that she was getting sick and she knew that they were doing things like sending electromagnetic pulses through her home. Yeah, if anybody wants to stay in debt to the cabal, that's what's delusional to me. I don't think I'm being delusional. I know I'm not being delusional. I'm being optimistic. I'm being joyous. I'm being positive, and I'm raising the vibrations of everything and everybody around me. There will only be a 14% tax on big ticket items only, or new items only, is what Carla says. Jenny Mack says when she got her bill months ago, there was only a school tax on it, and it was very little. Wow, are they phasing out the taxes, huh? Even on the bills already. That's beautiful. I don't have any news on the Vietnamese dong right now. Let's keep our vibrations high. Jenny Mack says, we know you know, Dr. Kia. Thank you for sharing the information on Biden. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're welcome. Yes, so much is happening. Star says, I bet this information will hit the Forex at 5:17 p.m. I'm so excited. Jenny Mac hadn't seen a commercial, and $100,000 would get me started. I know that's right. Patriot Mom just saw the 4th commercial on this during this live. Wow. Star says 517 equals 1770. Today is the 17th. 17th is Q. Anthony says, I found that out as well. And what Federal Reserve belongs to our numbers on our Social Security? Your Social Security number is a bank account number. Isn't that crazy? What is the hoopla about? SSI cutting back? Is this Biden's administration or Trump's plan? I don't know what they're saying about Social Security. When you go to donaldtrump.com/agenda47, he talks about Social Security, and he says one of his platforms and one of his principles of his administration is to make sure nothing happens to the Social Security benefits, and that it promises to actually increase the payments for our seniors. You're welcome. Golden Arrow says, thank you for your time and hard work from Kentucky. 6:00 p.m. can be dangerous. I don't know what's going to happen at 6 o'clock, but I'm going to keep everybody around me at high vibrational frequencies. You're welcome, Diamande. Jeffrey Short says, Mama Kia, my boulevard is burning in my envelope. You're welcome. It's time to win, family, and we are going to win. Thank you. Who's that? Yulia says, thank you for your energy and positivity. How's it going to be revealed to humanity that we are not the only ones being on? Oh, that we're not the only beings on this planet? I don't know how they're going to reveal it. Actually, mainstream media is starting to talk about it. Some people are starting to talk about it on YouTube. Mainstream media is leaking out information, but in mass, how are the masses going to find out this information? It's going to be some type of disclosure, but I don't know what it's going to look like. That's a great question. Look at this, family. Hezbollah's top media relations officer, Mohammed Alif, has been assassinated by an Israeli strike on central Beirut. Thank you for that. Is the Bolivar still the dark horse? I don't know about it being the dark horse, but I know that a lot of people are considering the Bolivar for investment, because if you know about what's going on in Venezuelan economy, you know that they had so many sanctions placed upon them that their currency has significantly devalued. They had a lot of inflation and a lot of people were living in poverty. But Venezuela has a lot of resources and they definitely have gold, so that their currency will be reinstated back to its normal value based on the resources that it has. So that's why people are looking at the Venezuelan bolivar along with the Iraqi dinar and the Iranian rial, Indonesian rupiah, and some of the other currencies. Oh, 5 million bolivar for $42 is awesome. Jasmine says, can somebody remind her of why they put charges on Trump? Probably to try to prevent him from moving forward with his agenda, his Agenda 47, which is some wonderful benefits for America, bringing back companies back to America, making sure we have free energy, creating freedom cities, having free college education, free bachelor's degree through American institution. They're trying to prevent him from making America great again. Yep, to stop him from becoming the president. Thank you, Tristan. Thank you so much. It's good to see you, brother. I love you so much. Thank you for always joining us and supporting us. You're awesome. So you're saying Adata says that was the trigger to go. You mean with Khamenei passing away? Yes, I think so too, because allegedly he and his administration were holding things up in the Middle East. So we see a lot of things that's about to pop off now. Let's see. Oh, thank you. Rhonda Vision says, I just absolutely adore you. I use you to lift up my vibrations because you're such a light. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. It's my great pleasure to be here with my soul family and to encourage you and uplift you and to keep you inspired to keep going. We hear so many things around us about how the world was, going into a downward spiral and what's, wars here and there, that it can really weigh on your spirit. And that's why I was charged actually with this mission to raise the vibrations of the planet, to look at what's going on globally. And yes, look at the bad news, but also look at it from a positive perspective and do a paradigm shift from, us all dying and from the third dimensional reality to a fifth dimensional reality and beyond. So with this paradigm shift and having a radical mind change, I was able to see that God is uplifting the whole planet, all of humanity, and bringing us into a golden era, an era of peace, love, joy, and prosperity. So first I have to know it. I had to know it for myself and then find supporting evidence to bring to the soul family so that I can have good news, but also bring articles, videos, people, interview people, and bring testimonials to support my claim. So this is my great pleasure to do so, family. And I thank you for listening to me. I thank you for being here. I thank you for your love, for your support, for your encouragement, for your emails, for your letters, for all of that. Thank you so much. There is a Wells Fargo Wealth Management Center here, Jeffrey Short says. I know they're changing the name of many banks to wealth management centers. Because banks, banks is in alignment with maritime law. Okay, so they have to get rid of all things dealing with maritime law of the water, courtrooms, all that. The judges showing up in black black robes because they're performing a death ceremony. They have to get rid of all that. We're moving to a whole golden era. And that's what the whole thing about Corona was about. CORONA. Remember, they were talking about that at first in 2020. Before, that's what they called the COVID at first. But actually, the elite people were speaking to each other saying, something's happening. It's a whole new era, because Corona means crown, as in gold, as in crown on your head, as in like what I have, as in your crown chakra, as in Christos consciousness. So we were having a Christos consciousness awakening. Our crown chakra was being activated. Our pineal gland was expanding. We're raising in consciousness. We're experiencing Christ consciousness, what I call the second coming of Christ. That second coming was a Christos consciousness awakening of we the people. So the elite were talking to each other saying, this is the Kali Yuga. This is the time where the people are waking up. The Corona, the crown chakra is being activated, and they try to get rid of as many of us as they could, and keep us from raising into our Christ consciousness and our higher selves, and raising into a high vibrational frequency, because the planet is ascending. We are ascending with the planet. So they try to put as much poison into the atmosphere as possible to keep us suppressed from activating and realizing Corona, Christ consciousness, okay, rising in frequency, rising to higher dimensions. And those of us that they couldn't make sick, they tried to get us to take certain things in our bodies to inoculate us against that, which only made a lot of people sicker. But thankfully, we have the med beds. And I just heard good news from one of the groups that I follow, that med beds are supposed to become available to we the people this month. And this is November. Definitely by the beginning of 2025. All that's supposed to be a lot of release, and releasing technology that will liberate us, like the med beds, free energy, and all these technological blessings that came from our galactic family, even the quantum financial system. That is one of the principles of project, or I call it Project 47, Agenda 47. So I did a podcast on that yesterday or the day before, sometime this weekend. But if you don't have time looking at my podcast, then you can go to DonaldTrump.com/Agenda 47. And he talks about releasing technology. Tristan says 1 million bolivars expected to exchange for $30,000. Okay, awesome. And it could go even higher, right? If we consider that the gold and other resources are backing the bolivar, I'll go for $30,000. That would do so much for me. Thank you so much, Tristan. God bless you for sharing that information. Let's see. Wells Fargo, Chase, and Fifth Third banks are eligible to exchange your foreign currencies, according to Arlena. Thank you. Wells Fargo, Chase, and Fifth Third Bank. And we know that JP Morgan's Chase's CEO came down with the COV, want to say in the summer. He also flipped for Trump before Trump became the president, and said, I think he was right about a lot of things. Well, his name is actually on, Steen Epps' list, okay, as allegedly being involved in what happened on his island. So he would want us flip for Trump. So all of the nefarious things that were going on in Chase Bank before, when he was operating at the highest level, actually a lot of that's been cleaned up. And those banks that were not Basel III, Basel IV compliant were closed. So that may be why Chase Bank is one of the ones that's participating in the exchange. And Chase Bank actually won the contract with Iraq. So now they have Chase Bank banks in Iraq preparing for the dinar exchange there in Iraq. So you have the Chase Bank. I didn't know about Fifth Third Bank. I've always known that Wells Fargo was the leading bank. Wells Fargo and HSBC are the leading banks in this currency exchange or wealth management centers. Thank you, Gigi. I appreciate that. She said, I'm doing a great job. Thank you. Because I wonder, how am I doing? Do I need to, be a little more detailed? Do I need to slow down in one area? Just let me know, family. Sean says the debt clock has a wonderful message. Proverbs 21:15. Okay. So if you go to Twitter, or you can just go to usdebtclock.com. Let's look at it. usdebtclock.org. I apologize. I don't see the message on there. You know, they used to have messages right at the top. So let me go to their Twitter page. You can follow what's going on at the Debt Clock by usdebtclock.org, but they also have a Twitter page. Let me see what they say on Twitter. Oh, wait a minute. Somebody just had a... Okay. You ready, baby? Okay. Okay. Give me a minute.
Past 1 o'clock.
Oh, when we got to get ready to go. Family, I can't stay long. I have to get ready to take my grandbaby somewhere. Oh, this is a beautiful message. Let me show you. So I went to Twitter and I'm looking up the Debt Clock's Twitter page. Here it is. Here's the message. It says, imagine a world without the Fed, the new US dollar. It's elemental. Wow, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with us. Let me see. Somebody says, who is that? Cheryl says, very helpful. I see a lot of this. It just makes sense. Great. Report from Mike Barra. Foreign investors in Iraq have just confirmed that yesterday's test rates on the Iraqi dinar and Vietnamese dongs are 100% legit. I'm starting to get excited. Thank you, Annie Starr. That's awesome news. Reports in from Mike Barra. Foreign investors in Iraq have just confirmed that yesterday's test rates on the Iraqi dinar and Vietnamese dong are 100% legit. Sister Cheryl says, you're awesome. You give us lots of history and details. Thank you. Thank you. Watch the water. Always very informative. Thank you, Sister Arlene. She says, Sister Kia, thank you for your time. You're welcome. It's my great pleasure. I love you too. Jenny Mack says, I love how you explain all this info. Thank you. Thank you. I just sent it out to my family members. Love you to the moon. I am blessed. Yes, we're blessed, family. We're blessed in the city. We're blessed. How did that song go?
I don't know.
We're blessed in the
I don't know that
city.
song.
We're blessed in the something. We're blessed.
I don't know that
We
song.
cast down every stronghold. Sickness and poverty must cease. You know, that's Israel Hoffman.
Israel?
Mm-hmm. That's his name. He's a musician. The reason why we haven't heard anything yet, look up the Law of War manual. The military will let us know. So be patient. Thank you, Jeffrey. That was a wonderful encouragement. Continue to stand as fearless as a lion in faith and truth and wisdom, Mario says. Thank you. I love you so much. We've just passed 11:11. All right, that's good. It's a good time to leave, family. It's 11:11. I love you so much. It's 11:11 here, Eastern Standard Time. No, it's 1:11 here, PM Eastern Standard Time. Must be 11:11 where you are. My name is Dr. Kia Pruitt. I hope I've said something to raise your vibrations and inspire you to create the most amazing, magnificent life that you desire and deserve. Thank you all so much. I'm hearing my Cash App go off. I appreciate you. It's 1:11 right now. Gratitude to you all. If you decide, Fred Hammond saying we're blessed in the city. I don't know why I thought it was Israel Huffman. If you desire to sow into my ministry or my work, my Cash App is Mama Kia 13. That's $MAMAKIA13. Let's go out and make this a great day. Now remember, what many people have said, including Andy Sheckman, the CEO of Miles Franklin, what he said, you're going to go to sleep on a Sunday and wake up to a Monday morning to a whole new reality. So I hope that's this Monday coming up. We'll see what happens tomorrow. But if you want to pay attention to the Forex, let's look at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time because it'll be in the morning in Iraq. And if you want to get gold, Call Miles Franklin at 952-929-7006 or send an email to info@milesfranklin.com and let them know that Dr. Kia Pruitt sent you so you can get the best rates in the industry, because we are moving to the gold standard where all world currencies will be backed by silver and gold. And if you have a savings and you want to roll it over into a gold IRA, we got you there too. So I love you, family. I got to get out of here. My kids, my grandkids are looking at me. We've just passed 11:11. You're welcome. It's my great pleasure. Let's get out of here and make this a great day, and share the video with your families. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, because Mama Kia is only going to be here for a short period of time. After we go ahead and revalue, then we're going to work on humanitarian projects. So that's it for now, family. I love you so much. Where we go one, we go all. Peace, everybody. Praise the Lord. See you soon. It's my great pleasure. You are more than welcome.
Yummy.
Mm-hmm.
Want to know how long